Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're looking at something really fascinating. We are going to explore how the physical Earth around us shapes human history and even our own minds. We often think humans are in total control of the world, but actually, nature is a massive, invisible force in our story. So, think about this. Did humans make history, or did the weather make it? Usually, we just focus on kings, wars, and human choices. But those invisible natural forces, they control our lives too. Honestly, just a sudden change in the wind or rain can completely change the world. For example, let's look at the 6th century. Three massive volcanic eruptions changed absolutely everything. These hit in 536, 540, and 547 AD. The eruptions threw thick ash up into the sky, and this blocked the sun, causing a very sudden and severe drop in global temperatures. Scientists actually call this cold period the Late Antique Little Ice Age. Here is our agenda for today. First, climate changes human history. Second, philosophy of the land. Third, humans and the network. And finally, lessons from the Earth. Okay, let's jump right into section 1. Climate changes human history. History is incredibly complex, right? But climate often drives the biggest social changes. Sudden cooling and long droughts directly helped cause the fall of the mighty Roman Empire. They also played a massive role in the collapse of the Bronze Age. And later on, sudden climate shifts actually aided the fast rise of the Mongol hordes. When the weather changed, human power shifted right along with it. That dramatic cooling in the 6th century, it was an absolute disaster for Europe. The cold weather ruined crops across the region. And of course, this caused severe famines. Weak, hungry populations easily get sick. So this bad weather set the perfect stage for the plague of Justinian, which was a deadly pandemic that ended up killing millions. But here's what is really crazy. One single climate event can cause totally different results depending on where you are. In Europe, the cooling brought crop failure and disease. But down in the Arabian Peninsula, this exact same climate shift brought very helpful rain. More rain meant more food for horses and camels, and this new growth supported the rapid rise of early Arab forces. Moving on to section 2, philosophy of the land. Now, let's look at the ideas of Tetsuro Watsuji. He was a famous Japanese philosopher who studied how geography actually shapes human life. He believed the way we think is deeply connected to our physical environment. Basically, we are not separate from the land we live on. A key concept here is fudo. In Japanese, it literally means wind and earth, but Watsuji used it to mean much more than just the weather. Fudo is our total physical and cultural space. It's how the climate, the physical land, and local human customs all mix together into one thing. To explain this, Watsuji grouped the world into 3 main climates: monsoon, desert, and meadow. He argued that these different climates grow entirely different types of human cultures. So let's focus on the monsoon climate for a minute, which includes Japan. Watsuji wrote about how the extreme heat and violent rain of a monsoon really shape the people living there. In a monsoon climate, nature is just so powerful. It brings huge destructive storms, but also incredibly rich plant life. Because nature is so strong, humans can't simply fight it or control it. Instead, they have to learn to accept its power and live closely with it. Here is a great real-world example of fudo. Japan has a warm, wet climate, and this caused people to build very specific types of homes. They built large roofs for the heavy rain and sliding paper walls to let the air flow through. Opening these walls completely blurs the line between inside and outside. You are basically inviting nature directly into the human space. Let's go to section 3, humans and the network. In this Eastern philosophy, a human being is called a ningen. Now, this word literally translates to person plus between. Think about that for a second. It means a human is not just a single, isolated body sitting alone in a room. We actually exist in the space between other people. Our connections are what define us. This leads straight to the concept of aidagara, which means betweenness. If our connections define us, then good ethics simply means building a very healthy network of relationships. It is all about how you relate to your parents, your children, and your friends. Your social network is a real, living part of who you are. The contrast here is super interesting. Traditional Western philosophy often focuses on the isolated individual. The main goal is usually protecting personal freedom. But Eastern philosophy, using ideas like Ningen, focuses on the group. It views human beings as an active, connected network of relationships. Another philosopher, Kitaro Nishida, pushed this idea even further. He totally rejected the idea that humans and nature are separate things. Instead, he argued for pure experience. This means that before we start overthinking and dividing the world into me and the environment, we are all just one single experience. Literally, we are the environment. Finally, let's wrap up with Section 4, Lessons from the Earth. So, what is the big takeaway here? The lesson is clear. We do not just live on the Earth as passing visitors. We are an active, working part of its network. Our physical bodies, our daily culture, and even our deep thoughts are a direct extension of the natural world around us. And why does this matter today? Well, if climate shapes our deep culture, then environmental problems are actually deep human problems. Nature is not just an object we can easily control. The climate directly changes our politics and our society. When we protect our environment, we are quite literally protecting our own future history. I will leave you with a final thought to chew on. How has your own local climate shaped your life today? Take a moment to consider how the wind and earth outside your window change your daily habits and your community. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep exploring the connections around you.